Hello and welcome to the next video in our series, A Journey Through the Map of Runterra. At this point we've gone through the jungles of Ixtal, journeyed over the deserts of Shurima, and now our journey takes us to the high peaks of Targon. Targon is located here at the bottom of the map. Mount Targon is the mightiest peak in Runterra, a towering peak of sun-baked rock amid a range of summits unmatched in scale anywhere else in the world. Located far from civilization, Mount Targon is utterly remote and all but impossible to reach, save by the most determined seeker. Many legends cling to Mount Targon, and like any place of myth, it is a beacon to dreamers, madmen, and questors of adventure. Some of these brave souls attempt to scale the impossible mountain, perhaps singing wisdom or enlightenment, perhaps chasing glory or some soul-deep yearning to witness its summit. The ascent is all but impossible, and those hardy few who somehow survive to reach the top almost never speak of what they have seen. Some return with a haunted, empty look in their eyes, others changed beyond all recognition, imbued by an aspect of unearthly, inhuman power, with a destiny few mortals can comprehend. Now let us look at the champions of Targon, those you might find should you journey there. Keep in mind this video is not about the champions, and there will be following videos about each champion individually. For now, this is about the zone specifically, so we'll touch on each one of them. Aphelios. Emerging from moonlight's shadow with weapon drawn, Aphelios kills the enemies of his faith in brooding silence, speaking only through the certainty of his aim and the firing of each gun. Aurelian's Soul. Aurelian's soul once graced the vast emptiness of the celestial realm with wonders of his own devising, but was tricked by the aspects of Targon into revealing the secrets of a sun that he himself created. Diana. Bearing her crescent moon blade and clad in shimmering armor, the color of winter snow at night, Diana is a living embodiment of the silver moon's power. Leona. Imbued with the fire of the sun, Leona is a holy warrior of the Solari, who defends Mount Targon with her zenith blade and the shield of the Daybreaker. Pantheon. Once an unwilling host to the aspect of war, Atreus survived when the celestial power within him was slain, refusing to succumb to a blow that tore stars from the heavens. Soraka. A wanderer from the celestial realm, Soraka gave up her immortal form to protect the mortal races from their own ignorance and violent instincts. Taric. Taric is host to the aspect of the Protector, wielding incredible power as Runterra's guardian of life, love, and beauty. Zoe. As the embodiment of mischief, imagination, and change, Zoe acts as the cosmic messenger of Targon, heralding major events that reshape worlds. Now let's look at the landscape of Targon. Targon is the home of the Rakor. Targon is a sprawling mountainous region whose people are both resourceful and devout. For thousands of years, the migratory Rakor tribes have chiseled markets, seasonal homes, and ceremonial chambers into the very mountain themselves. For the Rakor who chose to dwell closest to the Mount Targon, life is an unending pilgrimage, following the sun as the seasons change. They migrate between the solstices to remain in its heavenly light all year round. The oldest paths through the mountains are marked by ancient gateways of glittering metal, the largest of which have come to mark the end of each phase of the Rakor's migration. They celebrate the moment they cross each threshold before continuing under the sun's bright path. In the low-lying valleys, the Rakor can easily hunt and forage, grow crops, and tend their herds. During spring and summer in particular, the local flora and fauna are known to thrive even at higher altitudes. You'll also see many unnatural formations in Targon. For the shepherds leading their flocks to graze on the mountain slopes, it is sometimes easy to overlook these strange patterns that seem to flow outward through the rock from Mount Targon. To an ancient Targonians, these patterns were proof that the mountain itself was forged by divine intelligence. Some Rakor now believe these otherworldly shapes were once part of a great map, depicting unknown realms beyond the heavens. Others say the markings warn of tribal war that will one day ravage the entire world, setting brother against brother. Despite such wild speculation, the true origin and purpose of these patterns remain mystery to all. Just like there is an eternal summer, there is also an eternal winter. Among the tallest peaks, bitter winds and perilous snows overcome the seasons, creating an everlasting winter. This unnatural landscape is perilous to any stray wanderers, with plants and animals becoming rare sights indeed. And should you ever find yourself on this mountainside, do not forget to look up. The skies around Mount Targon shimmer with celestial majesty, the radiance of sun and moon alike, fairy comets streaking the darkness, and constellations of stars that can be seen from nowhere else on Runterra. The Rakor have long held all of these to be aspects of great and unknowable stellar beings, powerful and ancient on a scale beyond mortal imagining. Indeed, once every few generations, one of these aspects may descend from the mountain within the body of a climber they have deemed worthy. Such an occurrence is the stuff of legend, and it is likely that these divine creatures shaped the destiny of the world in ages past. While many Rakor are content merely to live out their days on the lower reaches of Mount Targon, pilgrims from lands near and far may find themselves drawn here, joining the seasonal migration, and the bravest or most foolhardily may even dare to perilously climb to the mountain's peaks. In a sacred farewell ceremony before climbing the mountain, those beginning their ascent are celebrated. This day marks the moment when the fate of their souls is placed into the hands of Targon. Most will likely never be seen again. Leaving the bonds of Runeterra far behind, some climbers say Mount Targon seems to expand and contract beneath them, as if the rock itself were alive. This has always made it impossible to map any reliable path to the summit. Each climb is different, with some taking many months and others apparently only a single day. Unforgiving to even the most adept climbers, the upper reach of Mount Targon are plagued with frigid winds, arctic storms, and frequent avalanches. The thin air makes every breath laborious and painful, and those who survive the climb often describe countless bitter nights spent sheltering from the unrelenting cold. Climbers sometimes think to start out in groups to assist one another on the way, since when one is exhausted or hurt, there's no hope to rescue from below. The bodies of the dead do not tend to decay at such heights, but seem to gradually melt with the rock, becoming twisted into the circular patterns and ridges of the mountain. However, the most dangerous thing about Mount Targon is not the incredible altitude, but the way in which it challenges the very character of each climber. The Rakor regard the ascent as a trial of the aspirant's spirit, and the inevitable solitude becomes unendurable, and they suffer maddening, distracting visions of other times, places, and personal regrets. In the rare event that a mortal reaches Targon's peaks, the heavens open before them in a dazzling display of cosmic aurora. Few ever bear witness to their radiant sights, far above the cloud line and beneath the glittering stars, where it is said that timeless, godlike beings dwell in a wondrous city of gold and silver. Now we've reached the peak. Let's journey back to the people of Rakor. Generations of Rakor have chiseled markets, homes, bridges, and ceremonial chambers using the existing shapes of the rock to guide them. Protected from snowfall and storms, such dwellings can be surprisingly comfortable, though never extravagant. The Rakor is a name thought to mean the tribe of last sun. The Rakor tribes boast many skilled artisans, craftsmanship, and merchants. However, they tend to value a simple life of humility and prayer to the heavens. The Rakor have endured the trials of their mountainous homeland for millennia, and often make such a life look relatively easy. In truth, they are always vigilant against danger from above and below. The Rakor do not seek war with others, but nonetheless maintain highly skilled militias among all the tribes and outlying settlements. It is said to be almost impossible to surprise a Rakor force in battle on their own lands. Now let us look at the Solari. While nearly all Rakor worship the sun, those who completely devote their lives to it are known as the Solari. As the dominant religious sect on Mount Targon, they believe the sun is the source of all life. All other light sources are false, and a threat to the future of their people. Disciples are guided in the structures of their faith by temple priests, who preach that if the sun was ever to fade, the world would be swallowed by darkness. Accordingly, the Solari stand ready to fight any who would extinguish its holy light. This image is showing the Temple of the Solstice. The entrance to the Solari Temple on the eastern slopes of Mount Targon is carved from gold-veined marble. During times of strife, a priest or scribe might meditate in an outer sanctum for weeks without food or water, subsisting merely on the divine sustenance provided to them by the sun. This is a Solari prayer shrine. In the sacred Sunward Temple, the worthiest warriors among the Rakor seek a place in the Horak, the elite militant order of the Solari priesthood. This particular shrine was constructed to align with major recurring celestial events, each one framed perfectly by a carefully placed aperture. These are the Lunari. Branded by the Solari as heretics, the Lunari worship the silvery light of the moon. They practice their beliefs in secret, hiding from those who seek to rid Targon of their influence forever. Even though some claim that long ago the two groups lived in peace, worshipping the heavens as one people. Though it will do nothing to bring back the countless Lunari slain by Solari over the years, it seems the balance of power in Targon may be shifting, as rumors abound that the aspect of the moon has taken mortal form once more. Now we will look at some items commonly found around Mount Targon. During their migrations, the tribes of Targon try to carry as few material objects as possible. Tethered pulley systems are used to transport essential belongings up and down the steep slopes, while heavier tools are equipped and stored in shelters around the mountain, and repaired or remade as needed. These are some climbing gear, and even young children of the core are trained to use hooks and picks, which are essential for survival in the mountains. These are some religious items, holding fragrant incense and the extracts of certain rare herbs and plants. These stone-carved offering bowls are used frequently in religious rites. Astronomers and astromancers across Targon meticulously track the sun, moon, and stars, hoping to reveal the will of the aspects and hasten their coming to this world. And this image is what is known as a zenith array, used for just that purpose. Solari priests keep an even more watchful eye on the heavens, using astrolabs to predict future events by measuring the movement of specific celestial bodies, and this is a golden astrolabe. Solari weaponsmiths craft ornate gilded blades to reflect the divine light of the sun, and these are almost always carried prominently and visibly outside a holy warrior's armor. Conversely, Lunari weapons tend to be elegant and easily concealed, sometimes crafted from iridescent moonstones. Now, what beasts might you come across in Targon? The various species native to Targon are uniquely primed to survive under the coldest weather conditions, with thick layers of fat and woolly furs to insulate from bitter winds and snow. Cloven hooves provide support on steep slopes and narrow footholds, while hooked claws easily latch onto ice. Ibex are rare, solitary herbivores from the lower plain of Targon, where their sweet, fatty milk is considered a delicacy. During its annual hibernation, an ibex's rough, slate-colored skin can help disguise it amongst the boulders, and they often end up completely covered by the winter snowfall. Flocks of tamu are raised by the Rakor. Their lush coats are sheared twice yearly and woven into warm clothing and other textiles. Famous for the trilling cry it emits before swooping for a kill, the predatory bolar moves in long, gliding leaps along thermal currents with aerodynamic feathered limbs and loves to prey on stray tamu. So what are my thoughts on Targon? Honestly, with the climb and them seeing adventures off to the summit, I get really a lot of an Everest vibe from this zone. And even, the airbenders from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Some of you might be familiar with that. That Ebik reminds me a lot of Appa. So definitely some familiarity with this one. I like Targon a lot. I especially like the sun and moon contrast. That reminds me a little bit of like druidic nature, and like the Tauren from World of Warcraft being sun and the night elves being the moon. So a lot of familiarity in this zone. And I feel like moving from the desert next door in Shurima and then climbing this mountain and moving into like this icy wilderness is going to be really cool as you move like from Shurima to Targon. So an awesome zone, and I'm excited to learn more about it. And that is it for Targon. If you have a recommendation for the next region we should explore, let me know in the comment section below. For now, my name is Entgrove, and I'll see you in the next video.